So welcome everyone to session number 7. Today we will discuss about this that how to select strong indicator for our project. Today we will have a discussion about the second step and the in the previous lesson we have discussed that how to select indicators. We had discussion that we will select mixed quantitative and qualitative indicators, and we will have monitoring and evaluation indicators, and we will search some indicators that other project used in the previous project in the same context. So today we will discuss about this, that how to select strong indicators for our project. So for this purpose, the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, developed criteria for the selection of indicators, and through these criteria we select strong indicators. If the indicators got, for example, 4 finds, so that is a very strong indicators from 7 out of 7, and or they get 4, 5, and or 3. This will be very strong indicators, and we must choose it for our project. So let me come to how this criteria. These are 7 criteria for our project. So through these 7 criteria we judge our indicators. First one is objective. The objective, it means that there is only one way to interpret these indicators. So each indicator must have objectivity. If the indicator has not objectivity, it means that this is not a strong indicators. Second one is direct. The indicator must measure direct input, output, outcome, or impact. So the proxy measurement of the indicators will not be strong indicators. Practical. It means that we can easily measure these indicators or not. Adequate, it means that these indicators measure enough axis, for example. So the indicator that we select for our project, it must measure enough axis. Number 5, useful for management. It means that this indicator is useful for good decisions. Can the management will take decision by these indicators? If the indicator was not useful for management, so we will omit it from our project, and we will replace another indicators that will be very useful for management. So the second step is attributable. Attributable means to measure the change. The indicator must measure the changes, and otherwise if it did not measure the change, so that will be not attributable indicators. And finally this aggregated indicator must be separated in different categories to understand if this is strong indicators or not. So one by one, for example, we have XYZ projects, so we decide to choose strong indicators. So for example, the first one is objectivity. Objective, the indicator must be objective. To have the objectivity, we must define every confused words very clearly. For example, here we have one indicators, and that indicator is girls will be healthy. This is not objective indicators, because we did not understand about this, that how to define healthy. If you ask two, three people, they will give different information about healthy. So one of the way that to increase the objectivity of the indicator is that is the clear definition of the confusing words. For example, healthy. It means that participants have not been hospitalized in the past 12 months. So now that it's clear that in the 12 past months, girls that not hospitalized, they are healthy girls. One of the objectivity of the indicator is to define each words and the indicators. So we have here two examples. One of the businesses, the indicator is the number of businesses that participants register with the local government. So this is the first indicators, and we have sixth indicator also. So the number of business that participants register with the local government, there is no any confusing word. So we can measure this very easily because this indicator has objectivity. So the indicator that has objectivity, that is called strong indicators, and we can increase the objectivity of an indicator through a clear definition of the confusing words. So second indicator is how successful each new business is. We cannot define the word successful. So this successful, if you ask from 1 to 3%, they will interpret it in different way. So we cannot say that this indicator is objective indicator, while the first one is objective indicator and the second one is not objective indicator. The second criteria that we select strong indicator, that is direct. Each indicator must measure input, output, outcome, impact, risk in itself. An indirect indicator will measure something else. Yes. For example, here we have uh, an example: the number of businesses that participants register with local government. So this is a direct measurement. We can measure it directly. For example, there's the second example, that is the how successful each new business is. This is not direct indicators, and it does not directly measure to understand that when the new business were created, were they successful or not. So this took time and need for more resources and a good research to understand that this indicator measure uh, indirectly information, and this is called proxy indicators. Practical to understand that the indicators to collect the data very easily. For example, the number of business that participants register with local government, we can measure this very easily. We can take data from different websites, different sources to understand that how many businesses are registered with local government, and we can take it very easily, this data. While if we measure that how successful each new business is, so this cannot be measured very easily. Therefore, it will take time and to measure the success. So we must do evaluation for this. So we must select very clear indicators that will have objectivity and measure direct and will be practical. So this will be very strong indicators. Number four, the indicator will provide adequate information. Adequate information, I mean the if the indicator did not provide adequate information, that will not be count strong indicators. But we judge indicators by these seven criteria. If the indicator get 3 5 marks, yes, that will be very strong indicators. If it will not be uneducated indicators, so but every indicator we will must try to be adequate and provide information for management. For example, here we have one example, that is the measurement of the microloan and number of microloan and size of each microloan. So we have measured two things, and this will be very useful indicators for management, because it measure number of microloan receiver and the size of the microloan. So the indicator will prepare enough information for management that will be very useful and strong indicators, and this is the fourth criteria of the strong indicators. Number five, it will be very useful for management. A strong indicator will be useful for management. Otherwise, the indicator that will not be uh, uh, useful for management, we will omit it in our project. So, for example, we have here the number of business that participant with local, just with local government. We can measure this indicator very easily, and we can analyze it through very simple formula, and we will have result. For example, the number of business we work in the project that is in the business sector. So we had, for example, 1000 businesses in different categories, and now that we start this project and run the project, and now we have 5000 business run in this country, for example. So management can take decision, and that is useful for management. uh, Attributable, it means that we can measure the attribution of one indicator through evaluation. So this has probability. In attribution, we use probability, maybe, because it needs for research. When we select any indicators and we would like to find the attribution of that indicator, we must write maybe, because we cannot find it very easily to understand the attribution of the indicators. So it's very important to use maybe words in the table. Segregated. The indicator must be segregated, and it means that the indicator must be separated in different categories. For example, we have here one example, that is the number of participants receiving HIV treatments. We can separate these indicators by different categories, for example, by gender, male and female, and by different type of age. So this is a strong indicator, that the indicator separated by different group, that is called strong indicators. Now we will have a good example of this. We have two indicators, for example. Indicator number one is business register with local government and successfulness of new businesses. For example, now we have check objectivity. So this indicator has objectivity because there is no dumb and confusing words. But here is confused words, successfulness. You cannot measure this easily, and it will be interpreted by two person by different way. So direct, it directly measure input, output, outcome, and impact, while this did not measure it directly. Practical, yes. I mean, we can get this data very easily, as maybe it belong to the different policy, rule and regulation of the government that can you find this that is the business is successful or not. Adequate. This indicator does not provide enough information for management, so no. Only they give information about the number of businesses, but there is no disaggregation, for example, of the different categories, for example, amount of the businesses. So this indicator did not provide enough information. It is this is no, and this is also no. Useful for management. Yes, this is useful for management because through this indicators they can measure very easily and they take decisions. And yes, this will be also useful for management, and I understand that the successfulness of the businesses attributable, as I have mentioned before, that we must do research to understand the attribution of the indicators. So this is probability. Maybe it will be very attributable indicators or not. So we have here select maybe in both for both indicators. And disaggregated, we cannot separate these indicators by gender, for example, or by different any things. This is also. So now we collect this one. Sorry. This indicator take, for example, 1 year, 2, 3, 4, and this may be this is probability, but they get per scores. Yes, so this indicator is a strong indicator. We select this indicator for our project, and the second one is not a strong indicators for our project because it only get 1 yes. So we omit this from our project, and it will be not very useful indicators. So this was the today session, and we will have for tomorrow another section. Please be with me for more update and M&A field.